I'm calling to order the Columbia County Board of Commissioners, March 4th, 2025 meeting to order. And asking Commissioner Allen if he'll open us with invocation.
Thank you, sir. I'll be happy to. If you would all please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father and Creator, we come before you this evening asking that you look over us and watch over what we do, and please make it good in your sight and to the benefit of the citizens of Columbia County. We ask that you look over those that would look over us, the first responders, the soldiers in the field, the firemen in the firehouse waiting for the call, and of course the policemen on patrol. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show we do have a quorum of commissioners. Commissioner Malier is down learning about hurricane debris pickup somewhere in a warmer climate, and Commissioner Caraway is not here. He's out way on business. Commissioners, you have the minutes from the February 18th commission meeting, the February 18th public hearing on 581, and the February 27th special call meeting. Your package, if you had a chance to review them, I'll accept a motion to do so.
Make a motion to approve all minutes from the meetings listed as presented.
Oh, second.
It's
up to us.
It is.
All right.
Raise your right hand. Motion carries. The addition of one item.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, for your consideration, staff would ask that you include item I-2A, the abandonment of a drainage utility easement at 201 and 203. How do you pronounce that, Matt? Good luck.
Don't look
I
at
don't
me.
know. You know where it is.
I went to Augusta College.
There you go. All right. Anyway, we're asking for that to be included, and other than that, it's ready for your approval, Mr. Chairman.
Approved. Now we have a number of folks from the youth leadership here. Where are you? I want you to stand up and tell us where you go to school. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Good meeting to attend because hopefully it'll be reasonably short. We also have a couple other guests. I believe Sheriff Clay Whittle's here. Sheriff, sitting in the back. He's
Got a clear view.
does. Superior Court Judge Barry Fleming, are you here? Of course, the juvenile judge Chuck Evans. Welcome. Our public defender Mac Taylor. Mac. Probably the most important person, my high school football coach and former commissioner, Bill Morris. Where are you, Coach?
Here.
There he is. Man, he used to give me so much grief. Welcome. Can you strike that from that live? Okay, Commissioners, you have the consent agenda in front of you. Each item on this agenda has been through the necessary committees and received the necessary votes to be placed on this. So if they still meet with your approval, I'll accept a motion to approve them all.
Motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Fantastic. On to the debate agenda. I believe you're up, Commissioner Allen.
Sorry, sir. I'm just trying to get my blood sugar up. I apologize.
Don't
I would like,
choke on it.
yeah. I would like to make a motion to approve the request for a variance to section 9098 for property located at tax map 077A, parcel 060C, to remove the maximum front building setback along Roundtree Way, subject to the condition enumerated in the February 20th, 2025 Planning Commission report.
Second.
This request is to remove the maximum front building setback for this parcel. This parcel is surrounded by Roundtree Way on the rear and Riverwatch Parkway on the front. Difficult to meet a maximum front setback on two roads. They did meet it by putting a small storage building on their property. Now they actually have final design done and under construction. They do not need that, and the only way they can get rid of that building is to have this maximum front setback removed from the property, and that is the request.
Any other questions? Motion is second on the floor. All in favor, raise your right hands.
Item I-1A2, I would like to make a motion to disapprove the request for a variance to section,
They did make.
They're asking to withdraw, Commissioner Allen, if you're willing to make that motion.
I apologize, I am willing to allow the withdrawal for variance to section 90-135, signs for property located at tax map 078D, parcel 028, to permit a billboard within 500 feet of another billboard.
Second.
As mentioned, this was a request to relocate a billboard that did not meet county code, but they have withdrawn that request.
Questions? Motion is second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
And the item added to the agenda, I-2A, I'd like to make a motion for the abandonment of drainage and utility easement at 201 and 203 Campanile Court.
Second.
This is two pieces of property that are adjacent to each other with a common owner. The common owner is looking to abandon the property line between the two parcels to make one parcel. However, we do have a 15-foot drainage utility easement that runs along that property line. We're asking, the request was to abandon that. We have reviewed it. Staff feels like it's a request that can be met, so we recommend approval.
Questions? Motion is second on the floor. All in favor, raise your right hand. Carries. No legal matters or no requests for review by committee. Public comments, Ms. Melita Bardron. Welcome.
To see ya.
5 minutes.
Marlena Bergeron, 2545 Willow Creek Court. Happy Women's History Month and happy Mardi Gras, everyone. So let us march forth with discussing the library guidelines. This is for a public record. Thank you for this opportunity to speak, and let me be clear. I am not here to endorse any one book or any position, but rather to advocate on behalf of parents and their households to find library books shelved where they belong, and to make sure our librarians are respected and protected for doing their job. Due to the new guidelines, some books are being reshelved away from their designated areas because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval, which violates the Columbia County Library Bill of Rights and the First Amendment. There's no such thing as being a little unconstitutional. That's like being kinda pregnant. Why are the guidelines here? A consistent group of patrons since 2022 has deemed some books in the children's and young adult section degenerate. And mind you, some of these books include bestsellers or National Book Award finalists. That's the free market, not the librarian's fault. There was a process in place to meet with a patron about a book they wanted reconsidered, but for them, it was never just about one book. It was always about removing a whole genre, and now the process is being abused. For everyone's understanding, in November 2023, Scott Johnson told the County Library Board that they did not have the authority to relocate or remove a book from the library to appease a patron. That was unconstitutional. My final term ended on the board in December of '23 after serving the maximum 3 consecutive terms. I later learned about the guidelines. They were written by a few appointed or elected officials, and they would be delegated to the library staff to execute. Though never publicly approved by the entire library board, the guidelines were submitted to you on September 3rd, the day after Labor Day, without any input from legal or library experts. Scott added to the agenda at the meeting with no warning the Friday before, when Patrice emails us an agenda and when we were all headed out of town. And thus, there was no public comment, and they were given unanimous approval. I felt betrayed and disappointed for the lack of transparency. The state librarian said to cease and desist until the regional board approved, but that was after moving 42 books without public knowledge. The regional board, holding a 5-member majority from the county, voted yes to the guidelines in December. So now here we are, people coming to the library to pick a fight. Sometimes the books weren't even at our library, and now they want to remove from the children's section a book about a boy who wants to learn ballet and wear a tutu, and a true story about a pair of male penguins who raise a baby chick. Some young adults have queer characters and sex. And please don't go all Pollyanna on us. We all read Romeo and Juliet at ages 12 and 13, and that has teenage sex and a double suicide. Yes, there are more LGBTQIA+ characters and issues in books because they exist, and they have a right to share their stories. So let the free market decide what's in the library. Some patrons are even suggesting now to remove the entire young adult section. And why should a few patrons with no library training redesign our library services? If I want shade thrown on a book, I'll sit under a tree. As competitive as I am, I don't want to be the first library in Georgia to violate the United States Constitution, so I have questions. Why did the other 3 counties want nothing to do with the guidelines? Why do our 3 guidelines need more guidelines than any other library in the state? Why did all but one of the county board members who voted yes in December already quit, including the guidelines lead author? And why now is the regional board hiring an attorney? Even if you don't like the idea of your tax dollars paying for a $20 book you disapprove of, are you sure that the taxpayers would rather fund a $260 hour lawyer? That could be 18 books an hour added to our library. And the public should know that you've asked the other 3 counties in the region to pay for 1/9 of the attorney fees to defend the guidelines, even though they voted against them. And lastly, what does it say about our county, who builds up a courthouse while stripping down its library as a sanctuary for freedom of thought and neutrality, and shrinks parents' rights and librarians' professional autonomy to manage themselves? And right now, our state senator, Lee Anderson, has moved a bill through the Senate that will criminalize librarians. If any patron thinks there's a book that's harmful to children, please say no to SB 74. There's nothing I wouldn't do to keep kids safe. And you can say you're trying to put up guardrails for youth protection, but I have a hard time expecting librarians to shelter our children from books when across the street, police and judges are going to treat our 17-year-olds or younger like an adult, because regardless of what your household thinks, adulthood in the eyes of the law starts the day before your 17th birthday. And those of us who actually have teenagers at home, there's nothing in a book that scares me more than giving our children a cell phone and a set of car keys. I would like you to rescind the guidelines and not micromanage library books. I beseech you to maintain the upper limits of your authority, to contact our current president and ask for petty politics to be put aside so FEMA can be funded and finish removing the rest of our debris piles. Look, our library is magnificent. It's clean inside and out. There's never drug users in the bathroom. I've never had anything stolen, and I've never had to step around people suffering from homelessness on the front steps. The library is a miracle. It might be the last place where people from different churches, schools, and echo chambers gather. Some of us believe that books teach tweens and teens about their bodies and sex, and they are more likely to respect and protect themselves and not become the victims of sexual abuse, which is especially important to young women. Remember, when we said the pledge, it's liberty and justice for all, not just Moms for Liberty, not just breakfast buddies or big donors. We have to model courage, kindness, and compassion, and look out for each other. Faith and love are stronger than fear, but fear-mongering is easier to spread. Have faith in us as individual patrons and parents that we can be mature, tolerant, and respectful and monitor what our kids read ourselves. And those that have a hard time respecting the common ground of our public institutions can be handed a copy of the Library Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution. Please protect the library and the librarians. They are not criminals. They're your staff, and they've always been my heroes. Thank you.
We have 3 items on the executive session. Couch, I believe that you have those.
Yes, sir. I make a motion to accept the donation from RLP 3 Appling OXD LLC, parcel 028027A, for the permanent and temporary easement needed for the White Oak Business Park project.
Second.
Additional easement needed for our forest main out of the business park as stated.
Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand.
I make a motion to approve $52,900 to Thaddeus and Wanda Dzunsky, parcel 067C070, $18,500 to Teresita Santos, parcel 07C001, $60,000 to Robert Turman, parcel 067-021A, and $70,000 to Michael Harbuck, parcel 067-014, to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for the Hereford Farm Road widening project.
Second.
All standard acquisitions for the Hereford Farm project, this brings us to 63%.
Questions? Motion second on the floor. All in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries.
I make a motion to approve $4,700 to Cole Development Co., Inc. and Stephen Beasley Builders, Inc., parcel 0512446 and 0511897, to obtain additional permanent and temporary easements for the Little Coyote Creek Sewer Project.
Second.
There are acquisitions for our gravity sewer project coming out of Little Coyote Creek to help eliminate some lift stations.
Questions? Motion second on the floor. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. I believe there's only one more motion to make, but I think you're going to make an announcement before you
am.
make a motion.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who came tonight to support me. I would like to take this opportunity to announce that I intend to run for the seat of county chair for the term beginning January 2027. It will be at that time that our current chairman, Doug Duncan, will become term limited in his seat. Though this may seem like a date in the distant future, as a matter of transparency, now is the time for me to announce my intentions. Doug, you have served our county with excellence for over 10 years to date. You have led me as a commissioner and my friend with great dedication. I look forward to continuing our service together in the coming months. To the citizens of District 4, I am not resigning my seat as your commissioner. I will continue to represent you well until the end of my elected term. The position of chair of the commission will simply allow me to not only serve you, but all county citizens. If elected, I will lead with a great amount of care. It is my commitment to put in the hard work necessary to keep our county the best place to live in the nation. As a lifelong resident of Columbia County, I commit to keeping our values, safety, beauty, and excellence intact for generations to come. Thank you.
Just one point of information, the election will be in May of '26.
Yes.
Just over 14 months. The election's 14 months away, so
That's right.
I think you'll make a great chairman.
Thank you.
So-
I appreciate it. Chair.
Chair, whatever you want to be called. At
That's right.
any rate, congratulations and look forward to your campaign. All we need is one more motion that always, the 4th district always makes, started with the coach,
That's right. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
or adjourned.